Craig, we know the offense will be great, but if history has shown us anything, it's keeping pucks out of your net that has allowed Team Canada to win these best-on-best tournaments. So we turn our attention to the 7 defensemen, 3 pairs and an extra, that will play for Team Canada on our team. So I think the first pair is obvious. We got Makar and we got Toews. I mean, they're a natural pair. They play well in Colorado. Makar is the best defenseman in the world. Toews a perfect complement to each other. They dominate possession. They put up points. They can play defensive when focused on that. Toews left, Makar right. Seems like a great place to start.
Yeah, I think that's really easy. You know, you talk about the way they drive play, and you know, defensive play is really important, but their ability to get the puck and then get it moving forward. And again, really good forwards here on Team Canada. They don't want to be spending more time than necessary in the defensive zone. They want to get on the attack. And Toews and Makar are a really strong pair and really good at driving the play the other way. And so I think it's an easy one to put them as the top pair.
Also worth noting, Makar will be if they're going to have a defenseman, he will be the defenseman on the first power play unit. As great as the other defenseman may be, he will be the guy who goes out with unit number 1 to start. And then I think Toews will be a really big part of the penalty kill unit, depending how those pairs shake out. So playing on special teams important. Toews Makar makes a lot of sense. Easy, full agreement. We love it. And I expect the Team Canada to pick those two when they get going. Now, my second pair. I think this guy, Josh Morrissey, is one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. He is an absolute stud, and on the left side, Team Canada needs a strong left side player on defense. He moves pucks up, he produces points, he defends well, doesn't have to defend too much. Good players will love playing with him because he always gets the puck to them how they want it, when they want him. I got Morrissey paired up with Noah Dobson on the right side. I don't think Noah Dobson gets enough credit because maybe he plays in the island and Lou doesn't let him talk to anyone. But he produces points, but he's also steady. And he's strong, he's stout. Pairing him with Morrissey, I think, would be a nice second pair. They can transition because everybody on Team Canada has to play with the puck and make nice plays, but they'll be able to defend as well. My second pair, Morrissey, Dobson.
Top 3 defense for Team Canada, I think, are clear-cut. Toews and Makar, and Josh Morrissey clearly locks in. I don't need to add anything to Josh Morrissey. He's a top-flight NHL defenseman and certainly can meet all those challenges. I have Evan Bouchard on the right side with Josh Morrissey, and Evan Bouchard took massive steps forward in his overall game. And I think playing with Josh Morrissey allows that support to be there for, just like Ekholm really supported Evan Bouchard in Edmonton, I think Morrissey can do exactly the same thing for Evan Bouchard. And we talk about moving the puck and getting the puck up the ice. And certainly Makar is the first unit power play guy on the point, and I think Bouchard's the second guy. And I think that as good as Noah Dobson, and I'm a Noah Dobson fan, I think that Evan Bouchard not only fits into that spot. I don't want Evan Bouchard playing lower in the lineup. I want him in that spot. Because if he's not playing in my top 4, I'm not so sure he's on my team. And I could see Noah Dobson being in a little bit of a different role. I don't think Noah Dobson's ready for top 4 minutes in this level of competition. I think Evan Bouchard is.
Okay, well, we agree the first 3. We'll temporarily put Bouchard there because now I need to know your third pair because I need to know where Dobson fits in, if he does, and who he's playing with to see if it all makes sense. Okay,
so on my third pair, I have Shea Theodore and Alex Pietrangelo of the Vegas Golden Knights. Much like Toews and Makar, that have a real ability to play together. I think that those two players, Shea Theodore has had a fantastic start to the season. He's injury-free. He's ready to get back to that level of play that we saw on their Stanley Cup run. Great skater, passed the puck, and a lot of confidence. And Alex Pietrangelo, to me, just that steady player. Error-free for the most part, competitive, knows the deal, and you got another right shot guy that can play in there, and he's dependable and reliable.
Okay, so let's work through this. We like first pair good, Morrissey, second pair left side, Shea Theodore, third pair left side. I'm with you. I'll give you Bouchard on the second pair. I get the Ekholm Bouchard comparison to Morrissey Bouchard and how good that could be because it's been one of the best pairings in the entire league the last couple seasons. So I'll give you that. I have Dobson on I would now put Dobson on my third pair with Shea Theodore because I think foot speed, you're playing against the best the U.S. has to offer. Sweden, Finland. fast players. And while Petro has had an incredible career and is still a very, very good player, and he might be on the team in a 7th spot, I think taking a regular shift at that pace, maybe Noah Dobson, it's his time. Like, I know he doesn't have the experience, he doesn't have the pedigree of the winning the cup or internationally, but at some point, like, they haven't won because they haven't played. Like, these guys will have earned their chance to maybe play further up. So I think we'll give you the first 5. I would have Dobson then as my 3rd pair right side, and maybe you might want Pietrangelo as your 7th D. I went a different way because it all blends together here. The bottom picks here. My 7th D, Craig, off the board wild card, Chris Tanev. Just for this tournament, why not go, if you're going to get a specialist, the best defensive player in the league? If you want a guy to shut somebody else down, you want a guy who can play limited minutes, kill penalties, block shots, and turn pucks the other way, nobody does it better than Chris Tanev. He's done it in the playoffs against the other team's best players time and again. Whoever he plays with, they are impenetrable defensively. So I have Tanev, a bit of a wild card, as my 7th pick. So I would go Theodore Dobson, regular shift, Tanev, X-Factor defense as my 7th guy. What do you think we should do with our bottom 3 then?
Well, I like Dobson there. I have no issues with Dobson player. I think Noah Dobson is an maybe not underrated, but still somewhat unknown about how good he is, because he's a really good player. What you talk about with Chris Tanev, so you're asking me here now, right here, to try to say no to Chris Tanev. I can't do it. I can't say no to Chris Tanev, because Chris Tanev is an all-in competitor. And all the things you just pointed out, and I love Alex Pietrangelo, but for this tournament and where Chris Tanev is and what he does and what he contributes, I got no problem with Chris Tanev as the 7th defenseman here. I really don't.
I love it. Taves, Makar, Morrissey, Bouchard, Theodore Dobson, Tanev as the X Factor. The D will be stout and tough to get through, just the way it's supposed to be when you play for Team Canada. Forwards are nice, D are great, but Team Canada is only going to go as far as the goaltenders will allow them to go. So Craig, who are the 3 goalies? Now Craig, this is not about picking a starter. They're just picking the 3 guys that the starter will come from, because the starter is going to be whoever is playing best come tournament time. I don't care who it is. It's just whoever's on top form then becomes the number 1 guy for Team Canada, because that's the sort of makeup of the group. But who are your 3 goalies on your team?
My 3 are Jordan Binnington, Samuel Montembeault, and Aiden Hill. And perhaps Stuart Skinner gets into that mix right now, but at this point in time, I've narrowed it down to that trio. And to your point, when you look at where they're going to be come the drop of the puck on game 1, it'll be who's ever playing the best and where they feel the most confident putting that goaltender in the net. But at this point in time, those are my 3 goaltenders. And I don't really see anybody else at this point in time. Maybe there's a possibility, but I don't see anybody really being able to unseat any of those 3.
So Binnington, yes. Hill, yes. We're in agreement. Those will be 2 of the 3. I did have Stu Skinner. I think his numbers have been good. He's played in high-pressure situations. And yes, you love Montembeault's start to the season. Yes, he's been pretty good the last couple of years. But he's not played in many pressure situations. He played in the World Championships, but he's not played it in games that really matter. And it's a big leap to me, sort of, in the mental approach. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm saying that he hasn't. And Stu Skinner has. He's played in Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final and played well. Sam Montembeault's played in a few years for Montreal where they've been out of the playoffs, miles out of the playoffs. He's played well there, but they haven't been really make or break kind of games. Any concern? I'm not sold on the goaltender. I think this is one of the real conversations about this Team Canada. Like, there's no true number 1 guarantee to lock him in. So you could sway me, but where's your concern for Montembeault's lack of big game pro experience?
Yeah, well, where I would go with Samuel Montembeault is it's not his fault that he's playing on a team that hasn't been competitive. He went to the World Championships and they won the gold medal. And Samuel Montembeault, I think it was at that point in time going through that experience where he said, wait a second, I can be a pretty darn good goaltender in this league. And even last year with the Montreal Canadiens, they weren't a very good defensive team, and Samuel Montembeault played really solid there. And I think that where he's at now with his confidence level, certainly Stuart Skinner gained an immeasurable amount of experience with respect to what he did last year en route to the Stanley Cup final, Game 7, and played very, very well. And I would not take Stuart Skinner out of this. But just where Samuel Montembeault winning the World Championships, going through that. And again, I'm like this, Mike. I'm like this. Like, it could be one or the other. But I think that your point about the goaltending for Team Canada being the area where they're going to try to narrow in, I think that Hill and Binnington, okay, so they're locked on the team. Now they ask themselves, who is the guy that very well may be the guy that doesn't really need to go in and play? He just needs to be there. And so what type of experience do you want those guys to gain by being around that group?
Also worth noting. Okay, I'll concede. We'll go Montembeault because, again, I think it's a toss-up. You can go either way. But I will say this. We're going to do this again, Craig. And as of today, Montembeault, Binnington, Hill, perfect. But this is not in ink. This is in pencil, and I got an eraser right here. If any of them, maybe save Jordan Binnington, don't play well, have a blip, I will make changes in the goaltending to selection day and then make changes again as to who starts game one, because this is a very fluid situation. But for now, we'll stay with Jordan Binnington, Adin Hill, Sam Montembeault in net.